Well, we've talked before about CASA for Douglas County. The organization's goal is to make sure every child who needs a court-appointed special advocate has one by 2020.
Boy, it's a large goal, but doable. Volunteers are essential. Today, we're getting specific about their role.
From CASA for Douglas County, Kim Thomas and Deanna Wagner. Thanks for stopping by this morning.
Yes. Welcome.
2020 seems like a long time. It's 5 years, but the goal, it's a tough goal because there's a great need out there. How big is the need right now?
Currently in Douglas County, there's probably between 1,200 and 1,400 kids in foster care, so it's a great need and one we're ready for.
Describe the role of a CASA, court-appointed special advocate. What do they do?
I'm going to let Deanna share. She's one of our volunteers.
Oh, great.
Yeah, what we do is we are assigned a case and we kind of review all the information, and then it's our responsibility to meet, first of all and foremost, the children or the child on the case, and then get familiar with everybody else on the case, whether that be foster parents, the guardian ad litem, the biological family, and then just advocate for the best interest of that child.
To be a CASA, do you have to have any experience in the legal system, in the justice system? How does that work?
You don't have to have any experience. Actually, the CASA office trains with everything that you need to know.
How are you different from a mentor?
Mentors are usually the child is picking a mentor. We are assigned to a child or to the children on the case, and we're not so much for a social aspect of it. We're advocating for them in their legal system, and so we're just kind of not only doing what they want, but we're getting to know everything about the family and the child and advocating for their best interests.
Right, so the qualifications, you don't really need to know a whole lot about the justice system, but do you need to have a background in child welfare at all? Because it seems like that's a component of all this as well.
You don't have to have a background in that at all. I think one of the things that we pride ourselves on is the wisdom of the community. Most people can relate to being a kid themselves. They can relate to having their own children. And that's what we want for our kids is that my child experience. What would you want for your kid?
Yeah, the time commitment, I'm guessing it's different from case to case, but on average, what would you say?
It does. It's really about the volunteer too. We are expected to meet with the child at least once a month, and that can be as simple as an hour time. But if you want to be more involved, you can be. So it's really up to the case and up to the volunteer.
Why is this so important, and what have you seen on the ground level, how this impacts a child's their process through the system?
Well, it's really important because, the child is the person that tends to get lost in the system. Their voice they're not always at the court hearings, and the system is overburdened. So many of the people on the professionals on the case have many cases. And so we have a one-to-one relationship or a sibling group relationship. And so they're really getting their voice heard. And that's what's important is that child sometimes can tell you things that nobody else on the case can tell you. And so we want to bring that to the forefront.
And be consistent.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
That's part of the reason of your meeting monthly, so that child knows you're not abandoning them.
Right. If you think about what happens in your life over a 6-month period, many of these kids go to court only every 6 months. And so if you think about what happens in your life over a 6-month period, it's a lot. But if someone is documenting that and keeping track of things that are going on, the little things in your life that really add up, that's really important.
We focused on training here because that's the whole goal with this awareness campaign is to get people, A, to understand there's a need for volunteers, and then B, know what steps to take to become one. So what is that first step to get involved?
Well, we have information sessions monthly. So I think you guys will have it up on the screen here later. It's at 12:30 and 5 on Tuesdays.
We have noon and 5:30.
Oh, noon and 5:30.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Second Tuesday of each month. Sorry, I'm a little bit
showing up
off.
early or late.
Yeah,
okay.
no, you're all right.
And then if you want to go to our website, we have an online link to fill out an online application. It'll go through just the basic information that we need, and then we'll have somebody contact you and go through it.
And then, so if you go through and if you're accepted into this program, from the time that you apply and are accepted, when do you actually start getting involved with a child?
Well, it's really awesome. We've started a little bit more modified type of training. And so generally people can apply, they can get in for their interview within a couple of days, and then you're waiting no longer than about 6 weeks to get into a training class. The training is a 6-week-long training class, so that's why I say 6 weeks, because it's once every week that you're coming in person and you're doing some online training as well.
The most challenging and the most rewarding aspects of being a CASA.
think at first it can be a little bit challenging to remain objective, get all of the information on the case, and take everybody's opinions into it before you start forming opinions in your own mind. Rewarding, I think there's several things. First of all, it's that consistency, knowing that child has somebody that's going to stay with them, because a lot of things can change. Caseworkers can change, guardian ad litems can change, they can move foster homes, but we stay consistent with them. And then at the end, seeing something good happen for that child, whether it be they return home or they get adopted, just feeling that you've really made a difference in their life.
Yeah, and there are a number of different hearings that you may attend.
Yeah.
What's the most common one? I mean, what do you see?
Well, you know, there's a lot of hearings right at the beginning, kind of getting things off and going. But generally, the 6-month review hearings are where our CASA advocates are providing a court report to the judge, and they are every 6 months. So that's the most frequent hearing, and where the most action takes place, I would say.
We could keep you here for an hour asking questions. If you are just as intrigued at home and you want to volunteer and you want to know that you're making a difference, I think this is a really great opportunity to look into. So there's information about training, and then CASA in general. We encourage you to call the number that's there, or you can also log on, casaomaha.org, an informative website and maybe a good place to get started so you know what you're getting into. Thank you, Kim
Thanks a
and
lot.
Deanna. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank
great to
you.
see you. So I'm not really known for crafting.
No?
I've got some issues when it comes to. It takes me back to like 3rd grade when
That's
you
so
do
strange.
craft projects in school.
The project we're looking at now is illuminated. So we're going to go through the step by step. Mickey's here to show us that, and then maybe you could try it at home this weekend.
That'd
We're
be
back
good.
in a minute.
Thanks, guys.